Well, hi guys, welcome back to Linda's Pantry. Today we're tackling produce, and I thought I'd better turn the camera on. I've already put up 18 cups of cooked plums. So I took the pits out and, washed them really good, took the pits out and cooked them down. And I had plans to can Asian plum sauce and make some plum syrup. I'm like, I'm running out of time and I've got a bunch of rhubarb that I need to deal with, like now. We're supposed to get rain starting tonight. So I picked tomatoes, I've got the rhubarb, and I purchased this cabbage when I went to the grocery store. Huge head of cabbage. This is a nice, I don't know how much it weighs, but I want to dehydrate it. So I have cabbage anytime I want, because the other day when I was making dinner, I wanted cabbage in my stew, and I didn't have any. I didn't have any dehydrated. I had none. So I'm going to remedy that problem right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dehydrate it, and I'm going to dehydrate it in the pieces that I would typically use, whether I was doing a stir fry or something that I'm going to put in a soup or a stew. And you'll be shocked at how good this comes out. I am going to cook some up for you at the end of the video, so stay with me on this, because you're not going to believe how wonderful this is. I'll do one without blanching, but you really need to blanch it. It is worth the effort and the time to blanch it. I promise you, you won't regret that decision. Most of the time when you're dehydrating vegetables, you're going to blanch them. So I'm going to get in here. And then the rhubarb, I was going to try dehydrating a little bit of rhubarb, and I might do, just because I've never done that. I don't want to blanch it though. It gets soft and mushy pretty quickly. So I think I'm just going to put one stalk of rhubarb on the tray with the unblanched cabbage. The rest of this cabbage is going to be blanched. And truly, you'll get the best results no matter what you're doing. It's just like when you are canning. It's better to par cook your fruit or your vegetables and hot pack them, because you don't have all that air in there. And that air can destroy stuff. I don't know. And this will retain its pretty color. So I'm hoping I get to grow my own this fall, but we'll see. So I'm going to bring you back in. My water is boiling, and I want to get this on to blanch. Sorry. Okay, I washed this, and I took off those outer leaves that I don't want. I'm just going to start whittling on this, and I want about 1 inch pieces, so something right in there, maybe 1.5 inches. I don't know. And it doesn't have to all be shaved like the cabbage steak. Let me get a bowl to put all said cabbage that I'm going to blanch. I'm going to put that in a bowl. So first I need to cut it into the pieces that I want, and super easy. The hardest part is taking the time to blanch it. Then we're going to put it on the trays and let her rip, right? So, okay, some of this, like I said, is going to go on the tray without blanching. So we'll do this. We'll start this tray just like that. So you can see the difference and understand that, no, that's not the way I want to do it. I mean, I guess if you want to, there's no harm, no foul. But really and truly, I don't want to waste too much of it. I just feel like you get a better product, or at least that's been my experience with cabbage. So I like the pretty green color. I like it to come back to life. And you want to separate your pieces pretty good, because any pieces that are stuck together will take longer to dehydrate, and yeah, it'll affect your end product. So kind of separate your stuff. Okay, I'm kind of happy with that. This is my cabbage that we're not going to blanch. And that being said, let's set that tray over here, because I'm going to have some rhubarb on that tray as well. Then this cabbage can go in my bowl. Okay. And that's going to go on other trays. But let's just get the cabbage cut up first, right? So if you have dehydrated cabbage before, let me know in the comments section, because I know a lot of people do. I don't know. Do you blanch it first? Because I know if you don't care about the color and the texture, you're not losing any nutrition. But yeah. And like I said, as I put this in here, I'm going to break these pieces up, because you know how cabbage is. That's why we don't can cabbage, because all of these pockets of, it's not safe to can, and it would just get stinky as all get out anyway. It's a brassica. You wouldn't want to can anything like that. None of the brassica family can safely be canned, nor would you want to. I'm doing this now because when it comes out of that blanching, it's a little bit hot. So I want to break this apart as much as possible. And yeah, oh, this is making me hungry. I love cabbage. I like it raw. I like it cooked. I pretty much like it anyway. Just sauteed with butter and salt and pepper is my favorite. I discovered that, I don't know, I must have been in my 20s. And I didn't have a lot of money. And I could, as I recall, I could buy a big head of cabbage like this for about 50 cents. And I would literally saute up a frying pan full with some butter, and I'd make a meal out of it. And it was cheap eating, and I loved it. And, you know, because I was on my own, and yeah. It was before I married my kid's dad and had babies. So, and I just kept eating it and doing the same thing. Unfortunately, cabbage is not that cheap anymore. This was 89 cents a pound, and I didn't look at my receipt to see how many pounds this was. But I plan on doing a bunch of this, because now I have those big, beautiful half-gallon jars from 4 jars that I can keep and keep the cabbage with a vacuum seal. I'll vacuum seal those jars shut, and we'll have cabbage. Now that one was on the outside, just looks a little funky. So let's get this. We're getting into the core part. I don't necessarily need the core, although this right here is Chef's treat. Oh my gosh, yes. It's like so sweet. I love it. So that's going to be my snack for doing this. And break that up really good. Right? Just get your pieces broken apart so you don't have to worry about it when you're putting it on the dehydrator trays. I had to turn my water off. It was already boiling, so we'll turn that back on before we're done. But get a big pot of water. I think I have my 12-quart Cuisinart stock pot on to boil. And this size is great for stir fries, for even if you did like, Asian noodles, lo mein noodles, or any kind of stir fry. This is about the size I like it. If I'm doing corned beef and cabbage, you know, maybe I've got some corned beef that I want to cook up, and I don't have the cabbage available. I've got it stored in my extended pantry dehydrated. Absolutely fantastic. Okay. You could, if you so chose to, you could do this in like a slaw. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. Those pieces just unwind like an accordion. Cabbage is such a neat plant. You totally could shred it and do coleslaw, and then you would be able to rehydrate it and make coleslaw with it. And I'll show you. I'm gonna show you how to refresh it and make it new again, and at least enjoy it after the fact. Because even though cabbage stays a long time in the refrigerator, I've had to throw, or I use half of a head and then I don't know what to do with the rest of it. Okay, that is how we roll. Okay, so tell me what, oh, and after I'm done, I've got to go out and pick pears because the deer are eating our pears already. So, and they're not ready, but they're ready enough. I'm going to pick them because we're going to get rain in the next couple of days starting tonight, and they'll be out there. It doesn't matter. They're waterproof. Those deer, they don't care if it's raining. And I want to put pears up. So that's what we had to do with the plums. We had to pick them early, let them ripen a little bit in the garage, and yeah, that's what we'll have to do with the pears. Because I was just out there and saw they're working on my Bartlett tree. They're not really working on the Asian pears yet, but I am going to pick, at least get a good bunch of them picked tonight. And so see, this isn't hard work, and it's not really tedious, or, you know, it's easy. This is easy stuff. This is easy preservation. I guess this would kind of qualify for the Every Little Bit Counts challenge, because I'm making every little bit count here at home, and making my life so much easier this winter, because literally it's a little bit of a drive for me to get to a store that's affordable. Now, we have a little store close to us, but it's a general store in a small community. I think there's less than 1,000 people that live in our small town, and yeah, I don't want to buy cabbage there. I'll buy some stuff, and sometimes they'll put stuff on sale, but I haven't ever seen them do cabbage. So I want to go, there's a farm stand nearby. I want to go see if she's got any green, or it's her and her husband, if they've got any green cabbage too, and if so, and it's reasonable, I'll grab some. Because I'd like to have two heads of cabbage put back. Now look, I won't waste any of this. So wonderful. Okay. Now, core. Yum. Oh, that is wonderful. Okay. I'm going to rinse my board and my knife, because next I'm prepping this rhubarb to go in vacuum bags. I've got to vacuum seal that. So I'll be using the WeVac here. As soon as we get this down on the dehydrator, we'll go down there and I'll vacuum seal. So now we're just gonna cut up our rhubarb. And some of these stalks, this stalk is huge. And that's off of a plant that I planted from seed last year. We are still, I've literally gotten a really good harvest of rhubarb this year. If you think about it, look at this. This is, I just picked one or two off each plant and then they come back. Woo! And some of these were kept in the fridge. They've been in there for a week and they're just as crispy as they were the day I put them in there. The water's almost ready for the blanching. But while stuff's going on, I'm gonna go ahead and get that. I'll wait till I get a wimpy little one for the dehydrator. I don't want to put too big of chunks on there because it'll take forever. And I've got some thinner stalks here that I can use for sure. Cut your cupped end off. Yep. And this end. And I should have a garbage bowl, but I don't. So there's that. As soon as my water comes to a boil, I am going to get that. So this one, I think I'll dehydrate this one. It's a thinner stalk and it's red. Okay, let's get some cabbage on. Want to? Okay, so I'm gonna put some cabbage down, and I've got an ice bath right here. Let's just get this dump and go. I've got an ice bath right next to me, and I'll take this bowl and do it in an ice bath as well. So the whole head can go in there at once. Once this comes up to another boil, we're gonna time it for 1 to 2 minutes. It's really blanching right now, even though it's not boiling, but it's blanching it. So literally once it comes back up to a boil, and I like to, it's already starting, I like to put something, a piece of foil over it, something that we can, that has a drip of plum sauce on it, but plum juice. I'll get another ice bath going for the second or 2 halves of it. That way we're not trying to cool down the whole head in one bowl. And we just need to cool it off enough that we can deal with it. And stop the cooking process, right? So we've got, my stove is on high. Come on, I want you to blanch. And look at the bright green pops out of those leaves. It's just wonderful. If you don't blanch, you're going to see what happens. Yes, it's extra work, but it's so worth it. So in real time, we're gonna start the countdown because I can see it, it's coming. And we'll start hey Siri, give me a 1.5 minute timer.
One minute and 30 seconds. Counting down.
Okay, she's got me. I love it. Okay, and while that's happening, I'm gonna go ahead and keep chopping on the rhubarb. So that's what you're hearing in the background. And we're gonna put one of these, or some of this, onto a tray. And we'll test this out, because I have never dehydrated rhubarb. And I don't want to blanch it. So I'm gonna do about a 1/2 cup. Not much, because it's a test, right? So the rest of that can go in the bowl, and we just keep moving. Okay, after this is done, after that's done, we'll put it in the water, or the ice bath, and I'll take you back over and we'll load up the trays. So while the cabbage is cooling down, I put it in the ice bath, then I put it in a colander with cold water to continue the cooling. It is now draining in the sink in the colander. So we're just gonna cut up the rest of this rhubarb. While that's happening, we're multitasking. And I did have one section of one piece of rhubarb that was a little woody. And if I see it again, like, I'll show you what I'm saying, where it's probably the last pick for that plant. I'm not seeing it with any of this though. So, As you can see in the background, I have my little bit of rhubarb and my cabbage that's raw that I'm going to show you the difference so we can glean some knowledge from this. And I think I've got enough rhubarb to last me till next year in the freezer. Now that I have harvested probably 3 or 4 small harvests and the plants are still thriving and putting on new leaves, I'm super happy with everything. But we did put them in very rich compost and manure, composted manure from the cows that hang out at my brother-in-law's place over at his 40 acres. And when they clean the barn out, they pile it up and they compost it. And he'd been saving that for me for 2 years, so we're good to go. Anyway, we still have a pile out there. Okay, yeah, these all look really good. It was just part of one stock. All right, did you guys put up any rhubarb? I even have friends who have never tasted rhubarb. What? I want to give some to one of my friends for her to freeze dry it, but I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to waste it and have it not turn out. So we'll wait till next year when we have all the rhubarb we ever would want and need. And this is such a wonderful year. Now, I do have to go out and pick pears, so we'll be working on pears next. But let's finish up this project, and then hopefully I can take you out or at least show you the harvest before the deer get them. I don't want the deer eating my harvest. Look at the size of this stalk. Can you believe that is from a 1-year-old plant? And there was 3 more like this on the plant and a new leaf budding out from the base. I only took 1. So I know somebody kind of reprimanded me on here that the roots weren't gonna, survive that. And I've been growing rhubarb for years and I've never had that problem. So I'm having better results with my rhubarb with rhubarb I plant from seed than I am the expensive plants that I buy that the roots, the root stock. I get it. That's a good way for people to buy them, but it's expensive and they do just as well, if not better. My seedling plants are doing better than my rootstock plants. Look at this. I got enough rhubarb to make just about anything I want to make. I might hold back some and make a beautiful cobbler. I don't know. Who's in the mood for a rhubarb cobbler? Oh, that's plenty of rhubarb. Okay, that's a lot of rhubarb. And see, it's all solid in there. If it was pithy, you'd be getting big air gappy holes in that. And that's beautiful. Look at that. You got one little hole, but that's going to be the case in most any of your rhubarb, no matter what this stage in the process it is. Wonderful. Okay, now we've got that done. Let's work on the cabbage and make sure we've got that. Now, I can compost this rhubarb, which I will. I'll throw this in the composting bin. And we'll get our cabbage. Look it. Oh, I'm super excited. And this has had a chance to drain, but what you'll see is the pieces like this one would have been a solid piece. If you try to dehydrate that without it being able to come apart and unfold, like that, it's going to be a solid mass. It'll take days with your dehydrator running. So all these pieces can come apart and get air and dry out. That's what we want. So it didn't take that long. Maybe 10 minutes to heat the water, 5 minutes to, I gotta wash this off, I think. I don't know what's going on there. But something dripped on that tray while it was in there. And let's scrub this off too. All right. Fancy dancy. I still got a spot on this, but I'm good. It's clean enough. It's been officially washed. And I got a itch. Oh. Okay. Now we're gonna load these trays. Super easy. And these will set quite nicely. You do want to space this out, so you got to be kind of meticulous to separate the leaves, unless you don't mind your dehydrator running for days on end. But yeah, you definitely want to try to get in here and move stuff around a little bit. And I should get 9 trays. What I'm gonna do with this tray here, so I can differentiate, I'm gonna put a line of rhubarb right there. So now I know that from here, from the rhubarb back this direction, it's all raw. And from there over, it's blanched. Does that make sense? Okay. I think I explained that good enough. All right. Same thing. Okay, a little bit more over here. And it's going to shrink up. You're going to be shocked when you take this out of the... See, there's a big chunk. Try to pull that apart and separate it. Yeah, just separate it. Okay, I've got... this is layers of layers. Okay, I feel like that's a good tray right there. A little bit of work today keeps you happy and full tomorrow. All right, I'm gonna set this over here where my composting stuff is, and I'll get this one. And I can stack these trays on top of each other while I get them downstairs. So here is a big piece of core. So I'm gonna eat that because that's not gonna dehydrate down very well. The core of the cabbage is so sweet. Love it. All right. So I guess you get the picture of what I'm doing. When I get all the trays done, I'll take you downstairs and we'll load that dehydrator up and get her going. And the nice thing is it's going to be nice and cool, so it won't heat up my cold room, my food storage room, which it doesn't really heat it up anyway. It runs, and like I did herbs last night. I did dill flowers, and they came out beautiful. They stayed nice and whole. There you go. All right, I'll bring it back, and I'll let you know how many trays we get. I hope for 9. Now we're ready to stick this on the dehydrator. So I'm gonna make sure nothing's stuck to the bottom, and you can, because I only got 5 trays. That was such a huge head of cabbage, and I thought I'd get more, and I probably could spread it out, but I'm hoping this doesn't stink up my house, because I can't remember if cabbage stinks or not. I know onions and garlic do. So if we start smelling cabbage, we'll move things. So I'm gonna just put every other tray above so it's not dragging on top, which is actually perfect. And I will grab, before this is over, even there, I can grab this piece. Yeah, it's just grabbing a couple of pieces that are a little tall. We'll put those down here. I can grab another head about that same size, and now I know I can get about 5 trays out of a big head of cabbage, because I would really like 2 half-gallon jars. You're going to be shocked at how much that shrinks. 2 half-gallon jars of cabbage dehydrated for the pantry down here. So we're gonna go on vegetables. It's at 125, and I set that at 125, plug it in, and there you go. I'm gonna check this in the morning before I go to work. Wait a minute, hold up. It's not, there we go. It wasn't quite connected. I'm gonna check that when I go to work in the morning and see how close we are. And I'm also going to grab a couple of bags, maybe 3 bags. Oh, should I do smaller? So I'm thinking rhubarb bread, cobbler, pie. I think I'm doing the big bags, but I might do a small one too. So we'll have little, because what I've been doing is smaller, you know, smaller, but I think I want a little bit more in there. 2 to 3 cups is what I like to have for breads and all that stuff. So that's how easy this is. This is just gonna do its thing. And now let's go package up our rhubarb. We'll vacuum seal that, and then I think it's time to go pick some pears. Guys, I almost started without you. I've got 3 bags with 2.5 cups each of rhubarb. 3 bags. So you want to get your bag all situated. I've got this turned on, and I've got it on Smart Vac. It's the easiest way to go. And then let it do its thing, right? I'm excited. I won't put you through the other 2 bags because it's noisy, but I do want you to see in real time how long it takes. It's easy. And I can already smell cabbage, so I don't know how this is gonna go, but hopefully it doesn't smell the house up too much. This room is closed off. It's insulated and closed off from the rest of the basement, and because the rest of the basement, there's a wood stove over there, and we wanted this to be a cool, kind of dark area, even though there's 2 small windows in here. Okay, it's on its countdown. We're almost there. I'm so sorry if it's too loud, but that's what you would listen to. I do have a link for the WeVac down below if you're interested in a chamber vacuum. Yeah. Wait till it beeps. Woo! And we have, I mean, there ain't no air going in there. Airtight. In the freezer it goes. Now, I did want to show you, hold on. Hold, please. I have, it can go right there, but I have 18 pounds of plum. This is just strictly plums that I cooked down. No sugar, nothing. And they're freezing up. So I've got the 5 cups, and the last bag, that bag I just showed you, had 3 cups in it. It was a little messier to vacuum seal, and I'm not sure if it was user error or what, but I had the vacuum or the bags outside, but it did suck a little bit of the juice in there. So I'm gonna have to work on that, because I've done tomato sauce, not one drip of juice. Okay, let's go see what we get for pears. Guys, it is time. I came home from work and I checked the dehydrator, and sure enough, it's done. And thankfully, it did not smell up the house. So this is how much this shrinks down. Look at this. So to get one of my big half-gallon jars that I got from 4 jars, I will have to do way more cabbage. But that's my goal, is to have 2 to 3 to 4 heads of cabbage worth on the shelf. So this one, where is it? Here we go. This one is the one that had the little bit of rhubarb, and I am going to refresh that and see how that comes out. I think it'd be better if I blanch it as well, and I should have. But we're just going to put that right here. I don't know if you can see. Let me bring you in close, and I will load these jars. Then we'll go upstairs, and I'm gonna give you a taste test on both the unblanched and the blanched. There definitely is a difference in color on the blanched compared to the unblanched. Yeah, so I'm anxious to see. Oops, I'm dropping them on the floor. I don't want to do that. We're not eating anything off the floor here. So I'll get this end is the not blanched, and I keep dropping. That is not good. Okay, I'm tired of this. Okay. They're a little tricky. Okay. So this is the unblanched version. Yeah, so, but totally dry, crispy all the way through. So everything's separated. It really did a nice job. And then I'll put the rhubarb over here. Yep. And here. And then in my, I'm gonna use a quart jar because we aren't going to have enough for a while. I did buy another head of cabbage today, so I can probably get that done. Now what I'm doing here is I just take my screen and we're going to go right into the jar, right? And any of this, and so it'll give me big enough chunks. Well, maybe I will need the bigger jar because I don't want to break these up. Okay? I did bring a bigger jar down with me, so let's get that big jar. Hold, please. Hold, please. Okay, I got my bigger jar. This is what I want to fill up, and I don't want to smash it in there. So let's just do it. We'll start it off and see how much we get, and then I'll show you how I seal it and everything. Okay. Yeah, it really, I mean, these pieces came out very, I mean, you can see through them. So the layers definitely got completely dry all the way through. And yeah, just fantastic. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to take you upstairs, and I'll meet you upstairs, and we will get the rest of this, or we'll get the cabbage cooking for you, rehydrating. And some of these you just have to kind of force it off of here a little bit. Bend your rack, or this thing. Bend it until you get it. Until you get it. And then you just drop what's left on there, no problem. And I'm gonna be doing another cabbage, so I'm not even gonna worry about rinsing these off, because literally it's not gonna hurt a thing. Get all the little pieces off there and you're good to go. So not a problem. All right. And I suspect the actual next head of cabbage that I did is even bigger. Or that I got is even bigger than the one I had yesterday. So we should have lots of cabbage. Okay, I will finish taking these trays off. I've got 3 more trays to do, and then I'll meet you upstairs. Okay, guys, I've got this. Actually, that large head of cabbage did fill up this half-gallon jar. You just have to kind of do this. I don't want to push it because I don't want to break them. So I'm going to do about the same amount of this one, and that'll be plenty for me to eat, right? So now look how nice that is. And then I'm going to seal up that's plenty. And I'm going to saute these in butter after I refresh them, but one at a time, okay? And I'm going to get the water. Here's the rhubarb. We're going to go ahead and start that rehydrating. And that'll just sit there. And same with these. We're going to add a little bit of water, and you just strain it off when it's time. I don't worry about being exact unless it's, oh, now it already smells like cabbage. It's starting to smell like cabbage. So we'll get this. It looks like, because they're such thin pieces, it looks like they're gonna refresh pretty fast. But while we're waiting, I'm gonna go ahead and seal this. And this, I'll try to put one of these vacuum sealers, jar sealers down in my description box. If I forget, somebody remind me, would you? And we'll just get this all sealed up. And then it can go downstairs on the shelf. And I think with the other head of cabbage, I'll get at least another one of these plus probably a quart. And I think that'll be okay for now to have 2 heads of cabbage in backup in food storage. I mean, it's really important that we keep stuff on the shelf that we use, especially when you live so far from town. It's just how you do things. You stock up when you can. And cabbage is at a decent price right now, so I'm okay with that. And I suspect that the rhubarb is going to take a while because it's hard and it's thicker. You know, you've got thicker pieces. It definitely doesn't smell like rhubarb in here. It smells like cabbage. Both are really pretty. I'm not unhappy with that at all, of how pretty they are. Let's save this water to water a plant or dog water. And yeah, I will. Oh, this is probably done. And I've got 82% battery left. And then you just pop this off just like that. And the lid is on. And it's vacuum sealed for later use. That'll go downstairs on my pantry shelf where I have my dehydrated stuff. I even like when I buy mini marshmallows, when I make paydays or Rice Krispie treats or anything like that, because we're just big kids over here. We like all that stuff. I vacuum seal the leftover marshmallows so they don't go stale. And especially up here in the Northwest, we have a lot of humidity. Like today it's rained off and on, and I can just feel the thick air in here. We've got windows open. It's warmish, like 65, I think, and humid because it's been raining off and on, but not pouring. Just, you know, we're gonna rain a little bit. No, we're gonna rain a little bit. Okay. And I have not ever dehydrated rhubarb before. I really appreciate having it frozen, and I like having the juice because whatever water it lets off when it's frozen, I still use it. I also like having it canned. I've got canned rhubarb. I just haven't ever dehydrated it. So here's a piece that's a little thicker, but it dried. They were all crispy dry. Most of it is rehydrated. Oh yeah, let's see what we got. I'm gonna give it about 2 more minutes. And honestly, this looks pretty good. Look at that. Look at that. I'm excited to saute this in some butter with salt and pepper. It's my favorite way to have cabbage. But you could also take if you had leftover corned beef or you had some in the freezer, you could take that and mix that in with, or even canned corned beef like you buy in the store, canned corned beef, because it's not safe to home can corned beef. You could add that to a big pan of cabbage, some red potatoes, and you've got corned beef and cabbage out of your pantry. Okay. So let's go over and saute the first that was not blanched first, because whatever comes out the best is how I'm going to do it in the future, to blanch or not to blanch. Okay, so I'm going to grab my salt and pepper and be ready. I've got a half of a pat of butter in there for this amount, and it's all soft. It's you know, it's like wilted cabbage. That's all. That's what it feels like in your hand. So I drained that off. I'm gonna go ahead and drain the other one, the one that was blanched first. I'll get that draining, and that way we are ready when this is done, and we'll get to yeah. Let's put that right there, just like that, just like so. Okay, do I need more butter? I don't think so. I don't want to get this too hot. A little salt and pepper. I think I'm going to need more butter. I really do. I really do. A little bit of salt. And we'll grab a half a pat of butter. Just like that. Okay. I want to see if I can tell the difference once it's sauteed. Because when I saute cabbage, I saute it until it's wilted and soft, but not, like soup consistent. Not like something I would put in a soup. Okay. And I'm going to, once I feel like this is done, I'm going to go ahead and put this on a plate. And then we'll have them side by side. Ooh, you know what? I should get something we can see it well in, right? Okay. And I'll probably end up mixing it all together. Okay. I'm excited. Do any of you, if you dehydrate cabbage, leave me a comment in the comment section because I'd like to know. And how do you use it? Do you have other uses other than sauteing, soups, casseroles, stew? I really like cabbage in a lot of soups. And sometimes I do that cabbage soup thing, which is just a veggie soup with cabbage and tomato juice and all that. I love that. Okay, I feel like this is getting close. And it does the same thing fresh cabbage does. It like absorbs the butter. I don't know how it does that, but it does. Okay. Let's get this in our dish. Okay, and then we're going to get a pat of butter, not a half a pat. We want a whole pat of butter. Well, maybe so. Maybe so. There we go. Okay, let's get our other cabbage in. And this is the one that I did blanch. And literally, it wasn't hard to blanch. This stuff was so easy to do. Very, very simple process. Most dehydrating is. And sometimes, we'll see in the end result, salt and pepper. I really like a lot of pepper too. The end result always tells the story of whether it's going to be acceptable to do it one way or another, And it's okay to experiment to find out what works for you and your family. Each way is totally safe. Look at that. That just sucked up that butter right now. I can't wait to taste it. I'm super excited about this. So, okay. We'll move this over so we can tell the difference, okay? Both have nice bright green leaves. This one looks a little bit greener. There's some leaves in here that are not as green. They took on a little bit of a yellow, yellow or tan kind of color. Okay, I think we're doing it in real time. Here we go. Let's turn my burner off. I think we're good. Okay. Sorry, you guys get to see the back of the pan, but I keep these pans super clean and polished. And if you ever want to know how I do that, because I don't want to, these pans are about 5 months old, and you know how pans get the bottoms of them, regardless of how clean your cooktop is, they get messed up. Okay, let me grab a fork and I'll take you to, okay guys, I'm excited. So this right here is the side that did not get blanched first, and this is the side that did get blanched. So we're just gonna give it a taste test and we'll see. And the rhubarb is not even close to. Well, it tastes good, but it's very chewy. It's chewy. It's like, it would be better if it went in a stew. I don't feel like it's tender at all. It's very chewy. Let's see about this. So sauteing that is not gonna work. Let's hope, please. Oh, much better. Much better. And maybe leaving it rehydrate a little longer, it might be comparable. But it didn't get that much. This didn't get that much more time. Yeah, this is very chewy and feels undone. That does not. That is delicious. Okay. I get a snack. Yeah, it's almost like, you know, blanch it. I'm just going to say. Now, like I said, if you were going to put this in a stew or a soup and it's going to cook and simmer, you wouldn't know the difference. But to saute it like I just did, not so much. I would let it rehydrate for even longer. That might help, but I'm still chewing on that one piece just because it won't leave. Yeah, I really like the blanch side. So that's that's how I concur on the blanch or not to blanch. Yeah, the rhubarb is not done. And it's been going this whole time. Let's take a little bite. Ooh. Well, now I like that. Wow. I think I need to dehydrate some rhubarb, but I'm going to blanch it. I could see where that would benefit this. The flavor is there. It's very tart. It's because I didn't sweeten this. But you could rehydrate this and use it in breads, in muffins, cookies, pie. Well, I don't know about pie. Maybe a pie. Put it in your pie filling. But I'll definitely get some on the shelf. If I get another picking or two, I'll go ahead and blanch and dehydrate. And if you want to see that video, please let me know in the comment section. I hope that this was inspiring for you to know whether or not you should blanch cabbage or not. And all the things that you put back this time of year, like the plums that have been cooked down, I put those away. I froze rhubarb. I got this done. And it's been a big day. Plus, last night we picked pears. We picked a huge bunch of pears. So we will have, to keep the deer away from them, we will have pears in jars here pretty quick. I am going to can the pears. I want to do some spiced pears and some just plain and simple syrup. And yeah, it's going to be wonderful to have that fruit on the shelf. All right, so that's my evaluation of to blanch or not to blanch. And of course, as always, guys, I can't wait to see you next time. Quite honestly, you might be seeing me use this in a recipe. All right, bye. Don't forget to leave a comment. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I look at all the comments. I read them all. And I try to answer each and every one of you, or at least acknowledge that you left me a comment. I appreciate you so very much. And it helps my channel out. And if you don't mind, go ahead and subscribe. It's free. Guys, I'm so glad that you stayed with me. I hope you'll leave me a comment. And I do hope if you want to see more of this, you'll let me know in the comments below.